Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we are looking at the John Wayne Marshal CO2 BB Revolver, and this again is a tabletop review. There won't be any shooting in this video. I haven't shot this specific gun, but I did shoot the Crosman Fortify, and that particular product is almost exactly like this gun, just with a different branding or licensing on it. And I will show you them side by side in a bit here. But before we do that, I want to go over some of the specifications and also mention that this is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca and our US Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.us. I will put links in the description to make it easier to find those items. Now I will be doing a field test video for this gun and shooting it, checking out the velocity, the accuracy, but if you want to kind of skip ahead, you could watch the same video on the Crosman Fortify. Essentially, it's the same gun, so I expect very, very similar performance from the John Wayne Marshal CO2 BB Revolver. All right, let's get right into the specifications. This is a mostly plastic gun with some metal construction. It does use a single 12-gram CO2 cartridge, and it shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. Now it does have an 18-shot internal spring-fed magazine, and the overall length is 10.5 inches or 26.6 centimeters. The barrel length is 5.5 inches and it's non-rifled. And like the old West revolvers, it shoots in single action only. This gun does have a claimed FPS of up to 420 and it weighs in at 1.2 pounds total weight. You're going to find a fixed sight blade in the front and groove in the rear. And it does have a cross bolt style safety, which I'll show you in a bit. Now the CO2 and screw is well hidden in the grips. And if you haven't already noticed, it's a copy of the Colt Single Action Army 45 revolver. It does come in this nice cardboard box here with the John Wayne images on it, right? John Wayne Marshal, 420 FPS, 18 round, .177 caliber, 4.5 millimeter steel BB. And you got that. You got more information here on the back. Steel BBs, 420 FPS, fixed blade, fixed notch, manual safety, 18 BBs, smooth bore, right? All the good stuff, 12-gram CO2 cartridge, right? And there's some more stuff there. So, by the way, this is an AirVenturi product, and the price on this gun is going to be actually significantly more than the Crosman Fortify. So if you really want the same gun at the cheapest price, then take a look at the Crosman Fortify. Now this one has the John Wayne branding, so if you're a John Wayne fan and you want that, you're going to pay double essentially to have the John Wayne licensing and branding on here. But some of you may be more into it. This gun I think does look a little nicer. It's got some raised areas on the barrel, and I like the way the logoing and branding is on right center here on the pistol grip. I think it looks a little nicer, but it's marginally nicer. Couple more things to go over quickly. Again, it's John Wayne licensed via AirVenturi, and it's distributed by AirVenturi and made in Taiwan. Okay, let's get the box out of the way. Let's do some comparisons here real quick. Okay, so here is the Crosman Fortify. And you'll notice, like, literally, it is the same gun. It is. Other than, well, even the Fortify does have a raised thing. I didn't even notice that initially, but they have this little raised area right there where you have the branding, right? You do have the John Wayne logo right here in the center of the grips. This one has the Crosman logo because it's Crosman. They are essentially the same gun. This one has some CO2, so I better be real careful with it. CO2, and I see some BBs, so be careful, Mike. Should have deloaded that before I did the video, and I didn't notice. So very careful. We'll put that one away, and I'll deload it later. One more gun to show, just comparison. So this is mostly an all-plastic gun. Right, it's a nice gun. It's only 1.2 pounds. It's mostly plastic other than the barrel and some internal areas. And then here we have, and this one I believe is, what is it now? It's, what's the name of it? It's the Colt Single Action Revolver. It's the Duke. So it is another Duke version, right? And this one happens to be shell loading. So you actually can load shells in it. And here's a shell just to show you what they look like, right? So you can load your shells up, put BBs or pellets, depending on which version you have, in there, and you can shoot this gun. And it's more traditional to a real steel, Colt Single Action Army revolver. So there's that. I mean, heavier. It's mostly all metal. It's not plastic, other than a couple parts, right? So you have your John Wayne. And the nice thing is we have two John Wayne guns here, so it's a good comparison. All right, let's do the walk around of this particular product. Get in nice and close so you can see here. Now, one thing I don't like about this style of gun is there's no cutouts here. And I think they could have made like some little cutouts to make it look like it's got a cylinder. Even if it only went in a little bit, I think that would have looked better because you don't see that. And that's kind of a giveaway from the front anyways. So this whole cylinder is just molded into the whole receiver frame area. Okay, and then you do have your trigger here. It's a nice trigger. It's single action only. So you don't, you have to cock it each time, right? This one doesn't have CO2, by the way. You do have your safety here. So when that's in, you can't cock it at all. You've got to pop it out. You see you got the red there to let you know, and you can see that it comes out. Okay, you have your notch in the rear for your sight, and it works well. And then you have your post front sight here. No white dots on here, but you wouldn't find that on a gun like this. There's your licensing there. Okay, John Wayne. Again, you have this caliber, nice pistol grips, and there's your CO2 screw. Now to get into that, you got to go to this side and you just pop it open. If I can get my finger in there. There it is. Okay, took me a bit there. So you have metal inside of here where the CO2 goes. So there's a bit of metal. You've got some metal in the grips here. You've got the CO2 Allen key, right there. So you're not going to lose it unless you lose that whole grip, and then that's not going to look very good. So again, there's your safety. It's got information on it as well. Got more John Wayne markings on the pistol grip. Okay, so it's a two-sided pistol, so you're going to have screw holes on the one side and not the other because it's two sides slapped together and screwed together. So it's not going to look as pretty, aesthetically pretty on this side because of the screw holes. You do have the loading magazine here, so you load them in there and it's just a spring follower that pushes them down, 18 rounds. You do have a recessed barrel and it's sort of got the grooves in there, kind of makes it look more legit. Okay. From the back, it's a nice looking gun, and at 1.2 pounds, it's not terribly light, but definitely not as heavy as a traditional, old classic Western single action revolver. All right, let's get into some of the pros and the cons and we'll finish up this review. It's a pretty decent looking replica of a real steel Colt single action Army revolver. And that single action only trigger is nice and short and light, and it's well suited to careful shot placement shooting. And I can't remember exactly how well it did in the field test shooting video, but I'm pretty sure it did pretty good, was fairly accurate, and got pretty close to the 420 claimed FPS. But you could watch that video if you want. I will be making a follow-up field test video for this exact gun shortly. Now that 420 claimed FPS is about perfect for plinking at ranges up to 30 or 40 feet. And it does have that 18 round magazine, which has a nice high capacity and it's easy to load when empty. So a little easier to load this gun up quickly with BBs over those shell loading revolvers, and you have the higher capacity as well. Now I like that the safety is well thought out. It's built into an already existing part of the gun rather than simply adding a switch on the gun that, doesn't look right. It kind of looks out of place. So this kind of blends itself into what you'd normally find on a revolver like this. And I like the look with the all black frame and the bone right grips and that John Wayne licensing. Now that CO2 Allen key is built into the grip, so you always have it on hand. Hopefully you don't lose the grip. If you lose the grip, well, I don't know what to say. And again, that John Wayne licensing for those Old West John Wayne fans is nice. You will pay a premium for it, however. All right, a few cons. It's a mostly plastic build gun. It makes it a bit light in the hand. And again, from the front, you don't see any of the shell holes in the cylinder. So it's a bit of a giveaway. I wish they would have implemented some sort of recessed looking, hole there that simulates the cylinder shell area. But anyways, they didn't do that, and that's what you have. Would have looked a little more genuine if they had done that. Now, it is, again, twice the price of the Crosman Fortify, which is basically the same air gun. So take that into account when you're buying this item. If you don't really care so much about the John Wayne licensing, then take a look at the Crosman Fortify, as it is essentially the same gun. All right, again, this gun is available on our Canada and our US Replica Airgun store online. So check out replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.us. Again, I will put links in the description so you can find this gun in both of those stores. And if you're interested in other products, we have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, pellet guns, and a bunch of other accessories in both of those stores. Also, come on down to replicaairguns.com. I will have a written post for this gun located there. It'll be near the top if you're watching this video right after I make it. Otherwise, you might have to do a quick search, but it is there and it will have additional photos and sometimes a little bit more additional information that I may have left out in this video portion. All right, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.